Hello everybody and welcome back to another video up on my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 meta weapons inside of Fallout 76 that everybody should be using. But with all that being said, let me hop right into this video and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So before we hop into this video, only about 13% of you guys are subscribed. So if you guys are a fan of the content or just a fan of Fallout 76, don't forget to go check and see if you're subscribed so you never miss out on anything new coming to the game. So the first weapon I want to talk about in this top 5 meta weapon builds is the Elder's Mark. Now you guys have seen a bunch of different iterations of this weapon because of how good it actually is, but I have put a little bit of a twist on mine that I haven't really seen many people use. And then as you guys can see, we have a big Mirelurk Queen right here, and you will see how much damage this actually is able to produce, along with how fast it can cripple an enemy. This is an amazing weapon to use whether you guys are inside the raids or whether you guys are just running around Appalachia doing different events or activities. Even infestations and headhunts, this is a perfect option for, just because of how tanky this build is, how much DPS you are able to do, and just everything in between like that. But for the build itself, this is the exact special stats that I have for this build. And then this is the perk cards that I will be running with this build. Along with the perk cards, we have the legendary perk cards, which we have Strength, Perception, Endurance, Agility, Luck, and Taking One for the team. Now you add everything like this together to make it do that incredible DPS and to help us stay alive in those big horde situations where you are getting attacked by multiple enemies. Things like bringing the big guns, Easy Target, Bullet Storm, Locked and Loaded, all to help us get more damage when we fire more bullets. Things like Ironclad, Iron Stomach, Thirst Quencher, and Hardy to help us stay alive, and then Nerd Rage because this is going to be a low health build. You guys can try it out as a full health if you're not a fan of the low health, but I find that I get a lot more DPS and a lot more damage as a bloodied build. So then this is the Elder's Mark that I will be using in this build. It has Bloodied, Vital, Lucky Hit, and Pinpointers. Now the thing that makes it a bit different than other people's builds is these two right here, Vital and Lucky Hit. Normally people will use the 2-star Rapid and the 3-star VATS Optimized. Now I find that that is not very necessary because of how this already has the plus 15 attack speed with the Cursed effect. And because if you see down here, the VATS cost is only 14 and it is not that expensive. So Lucky Hit is a very great other option when you combine it with a Bloodied. Because if you guys didn't know, if you have 40 luck and Lucky Hit, you are able to you are able to crit every other shot, meaning you will be doing so much DPS with this weapon and this build. For our armor, we will be using the Brotherhood Recon armor. Now, this isn't necessary. You guys can use anything like Secret Service, but the legendary effects we will have on is Unyielding, Agility, Active, and Rangers. Again, Unyielding for the +3 to all stats, the Agility to the +2 agility, and Active for the +2 to our AP, and of course Rangers for the +2 to our damage output. Along with that, we have the Marine Wetsuit with the Raider style, which gives a +5 to our luck, a +3 to our agility, and +2 to our perception. So in order to have this work fully as a good unyielding build, you are going to have under 20 health, meaning that 19 and under is the perfect stats. Now obviously you are going to want to have 19 or close to it for the most amount of health to help you guys stay alive. But remember, we do have bloodied on our weapon, meaning that the lower our health, the more damage we will be able to do. So when I have it around 15, which I find is a great sweet spot, you will be able to see how fast I am able to take out everything around me, along with how healthy I am. Like, I no get down low health very often, and when I do, all I have to do is stim pack back up. So again, you will be able to see what we can do against this Scorch Beast, and how easy we are able to stay alive when she shoots her Screech at us. The next weapon on our list is the Gauss Minigun. Now, you guys have probably seen a lot of different builds for this as well, but this is going to be a perfect build whether you guys are inside the raids or whether you guys are running around in Appalachia. So you guys will be able to see just how much damage that this weapon is able to do, and this is technically the highest DPSing weapon inside the game, so keep that in mind as well. This is such an amazing option for all things like that. Now you guys can see just how much damage you are able to do with this weapon, and when you actually have your full buffs and your damage buffs on, this will do an even more amount of DPS. The great thing about this build is not only is it high DPS, but it also has a very good damage resistance to a lot of different things. So this is going to be an amazing build whether you guys are inside the raids or, let's say, doing infestations where you just need to have a lot of damage resistance. This is such an amazing build for that, and just really staying alive in almost all situations. But for the build itself, this is the specials and where all the special points go. Along with that, this is the perk cards themselves. And then this is the legendaries. Again, we have strength, perception, endurance, agility, luck, and taking one for the team. Adding all these together, it will just give us so much more different options for our build and for our damage output. Again, this is going to be a bringing the big guns, easy target, bullet storm locked and loaded, just to get our bullet storm up. But it is also a heavy gun build, so we have bullet shield and one gun army. Along with that, I strongly suggest to have science on because, again, this is going to be technically an energy weapon. So the more intelligence we have, just a little bit more damage we will be able to produce. And we have like some of the normal like Life Giver, Ironclad, Through Hikers, Thirst Quenchers, things that are just going to help us have more health and more damage resistance to a bunch of different things. Now for the gun itself, obviously we have the Gauss Minigun, and we have Furious, Rapid, VATS Optimized, and Pinpointers. Just having Furious on to get our onslaught stacks up is going to help us do so much more damage. Weapon speed for the DPS output, that's optimized so we can stay in VATS for longer, and Pinpointers to the weak point damage. Again, this also has a bullets explode for 15% weapon damage, so keep that in mind as well. Along with that, if you guys did not know how to get this weapon, I will show you that real quick. In order to get this weapon, you have to make your way all the way over to the crater up here on the map and talk to Mortimer. You do have to have max raider reputation as well, so keep that in mind. If you guys have not gotten max raider reputation, definitely hit up some Moonshine Jamborees to get that raider reputation up. And then for the armor, again, we have the Brotherhood Recon, but this time we have Overeaters, Powered, Active, and Rangers. Overeaters because the more your hunger and thirst meter, the more health you will have. Powered for the AP regen, Active for the increased AP, and Rangers for the bonus damage that provides. Along with that, we will have the Raider Under Armor style again, which will give us +2 perception, +3 agility, and +5 luck. Again, you will be able to see how much damage output that this weapon is able to do, along with how easy it is to take out high enemies like a Scorch Beast. Really, all these enemies don't really stand a single chance when using this weapon, especially inside the raid. This is probably one of the best raid weapons to use. So if you guys are looking for an amazing raid weapon, definitely get your hands on this Gauss Minigun. Just how much ammo it has, it's able to take out so many different things without having to worry about reloading, and just getting your bullet stacks up is super nice when rocking this build as well. The next weapon on our list is the Pepper Shaker. Now, if you guys didn't know, the Pepper Shaker is a plan that you are able to get from Graham's Meat Week that just took place this last July. But if you guys weren't lucky enough to get a plan, this is a droppable weapon. So if you know somebody who has the plan, they can craft it for you and drop it for you guys. But you will be able to see how much damage that this weapon is able to do, and how much different enemies it can take out while using this weapon. This is an amazing weapon whether you guys are inside the raids or whether you guys are exploring Appalachia. The only downside about this weapon is that it does not have that much ammo in the mag, so you will have to reload quite often, which is a very sad downside for this weapon. But for the build that we will be using for the Pepper Shaker, this is it. First, we have our special stats and where they all go, and then for the perk cards themselves. Along with the perk cards, we have the legendary perk cards. We have Strength, Perception, Endurance, Agility, Luck, or taking one for the team. Now again, this is going to be a heavy gun build with a little shotgun in with it, because it does fire multiple shots, so shotgun champ is a very necessary thing. Along with that, it is a heavy gun build, so we will want one gun army and things like that because of how good those cards are when running heavy weapons. But again, everything is kind of the same while looking at it. We have Life Giver, Ironclad, Thirst Quencher, just things that you have seen on the other builds because of how good those perk cards are, and how you really have to use them for every single build you run because of how much DPS or just how much good stats they bring you. Then for the Pepper Shaker itself, we have Furious, Rapid, VATS Optimized, and Pinpointers. Now, having all of these things together, it will mean we are able to do a lot of damage with Furious once we get our Onslaught stacks up. Our weapon speed with Rapid, because it will fire faster. VATS Optimized, so we don't have to worry about the heavy gun VATS cost. And Pinpointers for the weak point damage. Again, you get this plan from completing Graham's Meat Week, and you are able to drop this for one another. So if you guys don't have this or don't know somebody who does has the ability to craft this, you can always join my Discord, which is linked down below, and I know somebody will craft you one and drop it for you in there. Then for the armor that we will be using, it is a Brotherhood of Recon again with Overeaters, Powered, Active, and Rangers. Overeaters for the increased health, Powered for the AP regen, Active for the increase to our AP, and Rangers so we can deal more damage when using this armor. And then, of course, we have the Marine Wetsuit with the Raider style that gives +2 Perception, +3 Agility, and +5 Luck. So again, if you guys are somebody who likes to use heavy weapons, do not overlook the Pepper Shaker. It is so incredibly good. You can see how fast it's able to take out something like a Scorch Beast. If you guys use this for headhunts or infestations, it is also an amazing option. Again, the only real downside is you are going to have to really reload quite often. And maybe you guys can use the quad mod, but it is taking away a lot of DPS with Furious 1 star, so just keep that in mind as well. If you guys don't want to reload quite as often, maybe that is an option for you guys. The next weapon on our list is the Ultracite laser rifle. Now, in my opinion, this may be my favorite one to use out of all of these. I just love this weapon so much. It is such a fun weapon to use, and how much damage it actually is able to produce is just something that is so worth at least trying out for yourself. If you guys are somebody who wants a more ammo-friendly weapon, this is definitely a great option for you guys. This is just such an amazing weapon. You guys will never really have to worry about reloading. You'll never really have to worry about running out of ammo because of how much this actually gives. And this is just, in my opinion, one of the best options in the game right now for the damage and for the survivability of the build that I have. So if you are to take away anything from this video, I strongly suggest you guys using this one because, like I said, this is probably my personal favorite of them all. And then for the build that I have for this, starting off with the special points, this is where they all go, along with the perk cards themselves. Along with that, we also have the legendaries, which is different for the first time. We have strength, perception, endurance, agility, luck, and charisma. So you guys will be able to see that this is a very heavy build dominated on the perk cards. But having all of this together will help us do all this amazing damage and be able to actually inflict all that damage on the high level targets, whether inside the raids or doing headhunts or infestations. Again, we will have Shotgun Champ because it does fire multiple shots, and we are going to have a more Bullet Storm of Gin and Scatter Shot. As you can see, it is very similar, but we have a lot into charisma this time, just because having this much into charisma is going to help us stay alive, help our teammates more, and help us do additional damage. So this is the laser rifle that I will be using. It has quad, rapid, lucky hit, and bullies. Now you have to use quad because otherwise you will only have 3 shots in your magazine. When you do have quad, it goes all the way up to 63. Now I'm not sure how that math works out, but I'm just gonna go with it and not complain because this gun is very strong. But along with quad, we will have rapid so we can shoot faster, lucky hit so we can do more damage. And again, if we have 40 luck with lucky hit, we are able to crit every other shot. Bullies because this is a crippling build and it will do an immense amount of damage once you cripple a target with this weapon. For the armor, it is going to be the Brotherhood of Steel Recon armor with Unyielding, Agility, Active, and Rangers. Unyielding because it's giving us +3 to all our stats, +2 to Agility, and +20 to our AP. And then, of course, Rangers for the additional 25% damage increase. And then, like every other build, we have the Raider Under Armor style, which is giving +2 perception, +3 agility, and +5 luck. Luck is super important again because this is going to be a build that we're trying to hit the 40 luck threshold, so we can VATS every other shot. And then again, once you add everything together, you can just see how good this weapon actually is and how fast it can take anything out around it. This is just such a strong weapon for how much damage you are able to produce with it, and I strongly suggest everybody giving this weapon a chance because of how dang good it is inside this game right now. I've personally been enjoying this weapon more than the Elder's Mark recently, just to change things up. I do think the Elder's Mark does produce a bit more damage and a bit more DPS because of the cursed effect, but having this on will definitely change up this play style that you are going for and just be a breath of fresh air when coming to how you play the game. And then for our last weapon, we have the Radium Rifle. So this is a bit of a special one since it is only very meta against certain enemies, and I will go into depth about that. But it is extremely broken against headhunt bosses. So you will be able to see that I just four-shotted that headhunt boss. So the Radium Rifle is doing a lot against human enemies. As you can see, these 2 stars are normally a lot harder than that. But with this Radium Rifle, you can absolutely destroy all of these different enemies. It has made headhunts a lot easier inside the game, and I've seen a lot of people using these, whether they've been in Publix or just in my Discord talking about how much they love this weapon. Interesting thing about the Radium Rifle right now is you don't even necessarily have to have a specific build for this weapon. Right now I'm using the Ultracite laser rifle build, and it's still performing extremely well against these headhunt bosses. The nice thing about the Radium Rifle is, let's say you guys were a fan of the Elder's Mark build earlier in the video. Well, you guys can just go and use that, make that build, and just have this weapon on the back burner. And whenever you see a headhunt pop, you guys can just equip this weapon and use it with that build. That's the nice thing about this weapon, is that you don't necessarily have to have a build that's dedicated for this weapon. And in that instance, this makes this weapon super strong for just being able to take it out whenever the right time is there. So this is the gun itself, and I have Furious, Vital, Lucky Hit, pinpointers on this weapon. Now I have seen a lot of people talk about maybe putting 2-shot, since the thing that really matters is the radiation damage. So you guys can do that if you would like. It is still doing a ridiculous amount of damage, as you saw earlier with Furious on. So I guess it really just depends on what legendary mods you guys have laying around. Vital for the crit damage, Lucky Hit so he can crit every other, and pinpointers. Now, I have seen a lot of people say they don't want to use pinpointers because, again, it's not really necessary. So just keep that in mind as well. This is really just not that important. It really just determines this number right here. Along with that, I am using just the Unyielding, Agility, Active, and Ranger set of armor. Again, it just determines on what build you guys are running with. You can use any single build that you want. It doesn't even have to be from this video. It could be something else that you guys have put together. But just make sure that you at least have this gun on you because of how much damage it's actually doing. So again, let me show you guys how much damage this weapon's able to do to these headhunt bosses, because it really is ridiculous, and definitely take advantage of it while you can, because yeah, it's just so good. Look at that, I just 3-shotted this headhunt boss, meaning now I can go on and finish another headhunt as quickly as possible, or just go back to what I was doing. But with all that being said, that is where I'm gonna leave it on today's video. I'd love to hear what you guys think of these different builds, whether you guys are planning on using them, or if you think there is something I could have improved on. I would love to hear it down in the comments below. I also want to say a huge shout out to all of you guys for all the support on all of the videos recently. It does mean so very much to me. And yeah, so thank you guys so very much. If you guys are interested in the Discord or my Twitch or anything else that I do, everything else is linked down in the description, and you are more than welcome to join in on those. We'd love to have you in the Discord, whether you guys are looking for certain items or just looking for help, or even just to play some games. You guys are always more than welcome to join in on that. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody!